Hey guys, today I want to talk about leveling in Classic. And I really love leveling, and I think it is the most fun part of the game. But I've been talking to some people lately while I've been streaming my dwarf leveling. I've been really surprised to hear that seems like the majority of players are uh, don't like leveling and think it's grindy and are just rushing, either rushed to 60 for their first character or are just trying to rush their alts to 60 as fast as possible to start doing the end game content. And this is very curious to me because I think the leveling is actually more fun than the end game content. I have more fun playing this dwarf than I enjoy raiding on my level 60 or end game PvP. And I wanted to go over all the things that keep leveling really, really fun. I kind of want to counter the idea that leveling is grindy and that it's boring. And there's a lot of different ways that leveling stays interesting, but I think the biggest way that it stays, fresh and fun for me is the constant upgrades that I'm getting for my character. And so what I mean by that is every time that I level up, I get a new talent. And every 2 levels I go and get new talents. And I'm constantly on the lookout on the auction house for like new items or different dungeons that I can do for an upgrade. And so I'm always looking to improve my character. And the fun part about leveling is when you do improve your character, you immediately notice it. So I'll give you some examples of upgrades I've made to my dwarf that have really changed how I've leveled. And I'll start with talents. And the first one I want to talk about is Blade Flurry. Now, Blade Flurry changes how you can play the game. So as a rogue, you have no area of effect abilities. Except for Blade Flurry, everything is single target. So up to this point, I have not been able to AoE down any targets, and it's most efficient to kill one enemy at a time. But now that I have Blade Flurry, it's actually beneficial for me to take on more than one mob at a time. And so not only was I looking forward to getting Blade Flurry, but when I finally did get it, it actually changed how I played the game. And so me leveling, I got this at 32. Me leveling at 31 was completely different than leveling at 32. My playstyle has changed. Next, we have another talent. We have Mace Specialization, right? And this is one I'm getting right now. So I decided to go with maces while leveling because I found some good ones on the auction house that I could buy for pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than swords because those are really popular. So in going with maces, I have this Mace Specialization talent, and every time I put a point into it, it increases the chance of the stun. And so like right now, I'm really excited to level up, hit 35, and put another point in Mace Specialization. And I know that every time I put a point in, I'm going to get stronger and stronger. But I'm also looking forward to stuff like Adrenaline Rush. And after that, I'm excited to go down the Assassination tree and get some of the talents like Ruthlessness and Relentless Strikes. So hopefully what you're seeing here is that as I'm leveling, I'm constantly on the lookout for new upgrades in terms of talents that are going to improve my character. And it's really exciting when you are getting those upgrades and you feel way stronger. And I mentioned another way to upgrade is to get skills. Some of those skills that really change how you play is stuff like Vanish. You can actually, instead of like running from fights, you can actually just hang in there, fight till you get really low, maybe kill 1 or 2 enemies, and then vanish. And then you can easily finish off, whatever was left. And obviously Vanish is going to save your life a ton, and it's a huge skill in PvP. And I'll talk about World PvP more later, but I guess the next skill I want to talk about is actually Cheap Shot. And Cheap Shot completely changes how you can PvP. And one of the fun things about all of these upgrades that you get, not only are you going to be like killing mobs faster while questing, not only are you going to be doing more damage in like dungeons, but if you find enemies to PvP against, you're actually going to see that, okay, at level 20, I really had a hard time killing mages. But at 22, I got Vanish, and I actually did better against mages. And I'm able to kill them sometimes now. And as you're upgrading your character and you fight someone else of like a class you've faced before, you go, oh, wow, now that I have blind, warriors are really easy to kill. Or now that I have blade flurry, I can actually stand on top of a hunter and hit them and their pet, which is kind of fun, right? So these are ways that like you're noticing your character. Not only do you notice it while leveling, while PvPing, y'all, and also dungeons. So those are ways like talents and skills can improve your character. And then obviously you have items. And I'll give you a couple examples. Number one, you can buy items off the auction house. So I bought this Midnight Mace off the auction house, and I was looking forward to equipping it. I think I bought it maybe 26, 27, and so up until I was 33, I couldn't. I was excited to get that Midnight Mace in because it's going to completely change, how much damage I'm doing. A great weapon really is impactful. So that's buying stuff on the auction house, buying weapons. That's one way you can improve your character. Also, you can be on the lookout for specific dungeon drops. So let's say I was a warrior. I'd be really excited to do Scarlet Monastery Armory and get like the Ravager, or try and get my Whirlwind Axe at 30. Those kind of things. These item upgrades are really exciting, especially with weapons, but even non-weapon items, right? The Trip Runner Dungaress. I was super excited to get this as it's a really, really good reward early on, and you use it for a really long time. So I was really excited to get those. I was excited to get my Tunica Westfall. And so these are all things that like keep the game interesting, keep it exciting. I don't feel bored when I'm leveling the character because I can look to that next upgrade, that next improvement I'm going to make, the next talent I'm going to get. And it keeps it really exciting. And so far I've been talking about items, skills, talents. What about zones, right? I look forward to zones and dungeons. I like specific dungeons. I like doing like Zulfrak. I'm looking forward to doing that dungeon once I get up to the 40s. I really like doing that dungeon. And there's not really a specific piece of loot in there that I'm looking for. I mean, there's a good head in the dungeon, but I'm just excited to do the dungeon because I like doing it. And same thing with certain zones. So I'm looking forward to doing the Stranglethorn Vale again. I'm about to go there once I think I'm done farming turtles for cooking. And Stranglethorn Vale is really fun because of the PvP. And I like Stranglethorn Vale for a completely different reason that I like Shimmering Flats, for example. So I was really excited to do Shimmering Flats because I like the quests. I like just going around and killing everything and having a ton of quests that I can complete all together and turn in all at once. That's really fun. And another reason why I really like Searing Gorge. But like I mentioned, I really like Stranglethorn for a completely different reason. So there's a lot of zones that I'm looking forward to while I'm leveling, a lot of dungeons, just items, skill, talents. Like, how could you be bored when you have all of these things to be looking forward to? And I just think it keeps the game really exciting, really interesting, and I think it's just really, really fun. Now, I've talked about PvP, I've talked about the upgrades. The last thing I want to mention is a lot of people say that like killing the mobs over and over, that it's really boring, it's really easy. I don't know. I think the classic questing is challenging, and I think it's fun. So, for example, you've seen me attacking these turtles, and you've probably noticed that I'm bleeding them out, right? I'm using Rupture and Garrote. Well, I don't do this for pretty much any other mob. The only mobs that like, for example, this cat, I'm not going to bleed him, right? Because he doesn't have that much armor. I'm going to eviscerate him. However, the turtles, they have a completely different stats than the cat, and they have really high armor. So against the turtles, I bleed them out. So what I'm getting at is basically every enemy that you face in Classic has different abilities, they have different stats, and animals in general are pretty easy to kill. But for example, there's some, like over in Arathi Highlands, I was killing these syndicate dudes. Some of them backstab you, they poison you, and they're really annoying. And over in Darkshire, Duskwood, there's some really annoying mobs over there there's lots of different diseases that you get that change how you play. And so as I'm leveling, I'm having to change up what I'm doing, my rotation, the abilities I'm pressing, how many I can pull at a time, depending on what enemies that I'm facing. And so I don't feel like the game gets boring and that it's grindy and I'm killing the same mobs over and over, because even though I'm killing a lot of mobs as I'm leveling, the the different mobs are each different in their own way. And if you're trying to, kill them without dying and pull, multiples, I think it's pretty exciting. And on that note, I want to mention any of you that have caught this dwarf as I've been live streaming on Twitch, you probably can count many times that I've gone to like 1% health, 5% health, barely escape or barely finish everyone off. If you're not careful, you get yourself into a lot of trouble while leveling. And some of the funnest times I've had playing WoW is pulling too many mobs and trying to figure out a way to kill them all and make it out alive. And I think that leveling is so much fun for all these reasons. I think it's really interesting. I never get bored. I'm never counting my experience. It never feels grindy. I'm just looking forward to that next improvement I'm going to make to my character. I'm looking forward to getting that mount or, whatever it is, and just enjoying playing the game. So these are all the reasons why I really love leveling. I really enjoy creating characters, and I actually enjoy playing more than endgame content, which I think is far more repetitive, and I'd call it far more grindy than leveling. But maybe I'll make a video on endgame content at some point. But thanks for leveling, guy. You should be leveling soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.